Good morning again to you loyal viewers. This is Angelo coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. Thanks for being with me again. I really appreciate it. My time is yours, whatever that is worth to you, and I have pleasure doing it, sharing it with you. Again, as I have said in all of my other programs, when I feel that I have something to share with you or in regard of my opinions, and I will definitely try to do that as best I can. Remember, I have no experience in a media broadcasting. This is all new, although I have plenty experience in life. We all somehow have woke from the day one of our birth when we learned to take a first step. It was a struggle and learning process, and a learning process has been for me all the way to this moment. And from this moment on also, I'm always learning something. And now I'm learning to share my thoughts, my opinions, and my feelings, my emotions with you. And perhaps, maybe you will find yourself in one of those of my opinions or experiences through my life. As I have said before, history is my passion. In the days when I used to study history years ago, there were no Google, there were no Amazon.com, there were no Yahoo, there were no computers. If you want to learn, you had to go to library. Even the local libraries then had much. There was Barnes and Noble, and there was Borders. And if you wanted something really, really heavy to read, you have to go to special libraries in universities, and that was hard to access. You have to be a professional historian, or you have to have a PhD or a bachelor or a master degree in history to go and they will give you, librarians will give you a time or open the door for you so you can read. So it was tough. When I was writing my book, first book, Blood of Montenegro, 8 years before that book was published, there were no computers. So I recruited a friend of mine, a writer that I got introduced, James Nathan Post, and to help me out, because Blood of Montenegro was my very first book. Although I will gladly say that it's been such a rich and good experience with James. We find each other comfortable to talk to express our feeling, to express our emotions. We had the same understanding of the world, of a struggle, of the sacrifices in life, and all of that. It's been really great to from the day one to right now, I may say, experience with a friend, to experience a knowledge and literary richness of Mr. Post. We become really close friends. Don't forget, folks, to express your feelings with your friends and have a conversation about the 9/11. So don't forget that, okay? Here is a US soldier on a horse in Afghanistan, right after the 9/11 when we invaded Afghanistan. John Bolton, the man that got fired. I think I did wrote this last night somewhere. He claimed that he resigned. Okay, if he resigns, if he did resign, for real, he has no right to claim unemployment. So if anybody know at the Labor Department that this man will file a claim, which I believe he will, he should be denied. And anybody over there in the media or anybody over there who has time to do this research, as freedom of information, okay? Go to the Labor Department and remind him that John Bolton has no right to claim unemployment. And his unemployment, folks, is not a $600, okay? You get, as I believe, 80% from your paycheck. His paycheck is pretty high. So let's deny Mr. Bolton his unemployment since he resigned. He said he resigned. President Trump said he fired him. To finish that, to go to our intended focus today about Hong Kong. In January 1st, 1841 till 1842, after the first and the second Opium War in China, tragic Opium War in China, Hong Kong was forcefully taken by United Kingdom as a colony. It's called Crown Colony of United Kingdom, Hong Kong. Crown Colony of Hong Kong become a part of the United Kingdom territory. I am they are traders through history in every country. And they are people who do more damage for their own interest or unknowingly to their society and their countries. And I will say like this, I will not even say his name. And I am not pro-communist Chinese. I ran away from communism. And if anybody can tell you a horror story from communism in a communist country, I think I'm qualified to do that. Although, let's do this. Read my book, Blood of Montenegro. And that will take you through the ride of my life in hell, but no heaven. But as a human being, I cannot wish China anything but happiness as I wish it to my country. Why is that? If China is successful and prosperous, that means the world will be successful and prosperous. I'm getting this advertising, guys, and on my side, on the side of my, and I hate that. Just think, 18 years old kid started revolution in China. This little punk, now that Hong Kong economy have gone to hell, and more than 3 or 4 million people are on the street, and they have no one iota why they are on the street. They just know that Hong Kong government, Mrs. Lam, the governor of Hong Kong, tried to extradite the dangerous criminals across the border and Shenzhen in the prisons, because China has a plenty space to keep those prisoners so they can stay away from harm from innocent citizens of Hong Kong. And previously, the law, China asked if a law can be passed in Hong Kong territory to teach students at the university and elementary and high schools China history, and also the invasions of the European powers, which are Holland, Spain, Portugal, France, UK, and Russia, and Austro-Hungarian Empire then, Italy included. Let's say a whole of Western Europe. Let me just give a little bit a back history to this little punk that is demonstrating and is rioting in Hong Kong and destroying the private properties and airport and economy of Hong Kong. This little 18 years old punk. This kid should go on a Google and Google out the Hong Kong history and the opium time period from 1800. And Queen Victoria, when a Chinese emperor, father of Lil Puyi, asked Queen Victoria to stop poisoning China with opium. Here was the response of Queen Victoria to her government and to her representatives in East Asia, from Singapore to Taiwan to Thailand to Malaysia to Indonesia to all of Asia. India, keep producing as much as possible of opium and keep selling it. And the only currency that I want you to take is silver, because China then had silver, and silver was, in 60 years, China was depleted from silver totally, that China had no currency inside to trade among the people. You little punk, whatever your name is, I don't even want to say your name, who are head of these demonstrations in Hong Kong. And your father and your mother and your grandfathers are in fault from not teaching you a lesson of putting you over their knee and spanking you the piece of board 2x4 to you ass turn out black, and to teach you how the Chinese people were treated during the World War, during the First War and the Second War, and a Boxer's Revolution in China by the British and Belgian and all the European powers. You are nothing but flea, like a fleece. You are not even considered as a human being. Chinese people were not even considered as a human being. Your forefathers were slaves to the colonies of the European, and I'm a European man, and I'm ashamed of it. What they have done then. 1600, 1700, 1800, and all the way to the day, 97, to the day that Hong Kong was turned over to China. You were not considered even a people. You were just a number, not even a number. You stupid kid. You dumb freaking kid. Shame on you people in Hong Kong media. Nobody have told this kid that his place is to learn first history of China, what happened to China. Through 400 years of history till 97. Slavery, slavery, slavery. And he wants the right for Hong Kong to go back to the right that he had in Hong Kong. You freaking stupid kid. You want to go back to 1900, early 1900 and 1800? You be a freaking pulling a rickshaw, Sudan, for pennies, and a white people be sitting in the back and cursing you to hell to go faster. And you won't be able to sit or walk in a park and the same place where the white people were going, where the European people were going. You stupid little punk. Shame on you, Hong Kong government. Shame on you that you haven't, all these years, you haven't taught you people. You haven't taught you people better. And now you are trying to portray yourself as a civilized society, so you let this punk and his ignorant little uneducated kids running around the streets and looting and burning everything, and that may trigger a worldwide problem, which it does. It has been said that they are starring, that this punk in Hong Kong is starring a Ukrainian revolution. That wasn't a freaking revolution in Ukraine. That was a British, French, that was a European Union creation, okay? A blueprint. So they can expand the European Union. And after Berlin Wall, dismantlation or whatever you want to call it, there was agreement between old George Bush and Ronald Reagan. And there was a promise made to Gorbachev that will be no expansion of NATO. in any country that was a Warsaw Pact, if Russia pull out, and Russia did, what happened? We want in Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Poland, Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, and then we want Ukraine and Georgia and all that. We wanted it all. We just couldn't stop. Well, Russia then, after the Soviet Union became a federation of Russia, said enough is enough. I mean, you intruding on my stairs. I can't even open my front door. So how far one has to go to trigger a man to pull the gun and shoot you? How far you think a man has to go to attack you, to insult you, to intrude in your privacy and your life and your land and property or on your home for you to pull a gun and shoot him? Well, we have intruded in Russia in every possible way, but yet they have restrained themselves not to pull the gun to shoot us. And I think we should be grateful for that. We have intruded right on the front door, and our foot is one out in a porch and one in a hallway of the Russia house, and they still think hopefully that we will pull back. Although don't forget, they got a freaking gun in their hand, and if another foot is lifted to go in, they will shoot our ass out right on the forehead. And that means they will protect themselves. So let's not fool ourselves, okay? Hong Kong is a powder keg the same way. If China moves in, the West will push our media to cry out. Here is a totalitarian system is invading Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a freaking China, and it's been China for eons, since the beginning of the man. And Taiwan is a China. And China Sea is China. And Macau is China. And Shenzhen is China. And China today always been China. And Tibet is China. Tibet was a backward society the most backward society in Asia, period. If China then come in after 45 or during the 45 to modernize Tibet, there will be no toilet, no showers, no sewage, no water, no electricity, no textile. They'll be still riding a freaking yak, that bull. I'm not degrading Tibetan people, okay? Don't get me wrong. But they were backward, and they are still backward. And China is the best thing, excuse me. And China is the best thing that ever happened to those people. Xinjiang, Northwest, desert, rich with minerals, with oils, with natural gas and everything. But what are they gonna do? Eat it? Drink oil and snort the freaking natural gas? They were backward. China have modernized in the last 30 years, that part of the world. And China have opened the learning centers that million people can go over there, some voluntary, some not, but there are so many young people over there. Anybody who cannot read and write, 40 years later can come out. In the West here, they say that's a rehabilitation. And I say like this, no, that's a university education. And these people needed it badly. And they go over there and they become with a trade. When they come out, every single one of them, they come out to some kind of trade. They can be a plumber, electrician, an engineer, and a teacher, grade school teacher, elementary teacher, a good productive farmer, you name it. You name it. So what's wrong with that? Here in the West, we say like this. They have a forceful camps and they have put people in a camp and they have arrested them and a non-voluntary imprisonment for 4 or 5 years. He can freaking stay there for 10 years till he becomes to be a productive citizen. More power to you, China. Teach your people to be productive. If you have 150 million people, Mongols and Xinjiang, native people, and they are all illiterate, more power to you. Do what you do. I know a lot of people here in the West don't like that. Because they know exactly what you're doing. You're educating your people so your country can prosper. I got nothing against the prosperity in the world. I want to see the healthy world, and my country will be healthy too. They say like this, happy neighbor and healthy neighbor is a good neighbor. Healthy neighbor, happy neighbor, educated neighbor is a good neighbor. In Hong Kong, I'm guilty myself. I thought that's an educated society and a prosperous society, and that's a small number, and the top is educated, and the rest of them are nothing. It shows, it proves. When 3 million people can come out on the street and they say, and I quote, I didn't say this, they said, they want freedom that they had. You mean you want to go back under the British rule? You stupid people. You didn't even have governor or a head of your government ever elected since the time Hong Kong became a colony of United Kingdom. They have appointed everything that government was all about. And you were paying taxes to Queen Victoria. Plus, they were robbing you and selling you opium and all the other possible drugs and depleting you with the silver, with the national currency that was no more. Even during the Mao in 1945, China, all of China, including Taiwan and Hong Kong, was infested, and not just infested, it was hooked on every possible drug but opium the most. And that's not my saying. You go and research that in a manifesto of Mao. He is the one. He is the one, Zhou Enlai and Mao, discussing the problem of opium in China. How are they going to stop it? So here you go. Insult. It's easy to get insulted when you don't know nothing. It's easy to be laughed on it when you don't know nothing. It's easy to make mistake when you don't give a time to yourself. Are you doing the right thing or not? I thank anyone who will see this program of mine and anyone who knows this punk in Hong Kong, 18 years old, little milk boy. They should Google out annexation of Hong Kong and first war and the second war of opium in China, and all the atrocity that have been done to Chinese people in Hong Kong after that, and how they were treated for many years. I mean, for many years. This is all beyond me. They were hunting Chinese people and shooting Chinese people. The police, the white police, and the European power police, they were shooting people left and right with no accountability anywhere. Holland and Belgium and Denmark in Africa, in Zaire and Zimbabwe. They were hunting people. The kings of those countries used to go in those countries in Africa and hunt people, shooting people like an animals. Those are my Europeans. My God, can I restrain myself to say murderous bastards? I'm ashamed of it. Everywhere our white forefathers, they have gone, they have brought disparity, poverty, bloodshed, and agony. I'm not so sure how can I say this. I'm so sorry. We could come and become part of society and advance with it, help them to advance instead killing them. We could go in Africa and do the same. We could come here in Americas, South and North, and do the same instead killing millions of people. We could go in Asia, Pacific, South Pacific Islands, East Indies and West Indies, and help them to develop. Instead, we looted, we burn, we kill, we convert, we oppress. Shame on us. I mean, really, honestly, shame on us. I hope somehow my message will reach this young punk milk boy in Hong Kong, and maybe he can retreat somewhere for about a day or two and just go through the pages of Hong Kong history and let the history of China be studied on Hong Kong universities and schools. There is never enough knowledge. And this is not a lie or make up history. This is the history that it did happen. I mean, it did happen. The humble, for all those years, were servants of the British Empire. Just like all the other colonies. They were dying for Great Britain and Great Britain Empire. They were slaving, working, delivering. Thailand, a great Siam kingdom, then in 1800. 1 million tons of rice plus the taxes in silver, then tea, then all the spices and herbs from India and Thailand. That was mandatory to be delivered to UK for free. United Kingdom in Europe for free. And it was the same apply from Africa. Certain amount of the mining of silver and gold and all the other minerals, percentage was delivered for free to the Queen, to UK Kingdom, United Kingdom. No wonder they were living freaking good. No wonder they were living freaking good. No wonder the revolution was started in this country. Remember Tea Party in Boston? No representation, no taxation. Up to here. People had it. Even white people here. They were from that part of the world, the European part of the world, not Asian or Africa or anywhere. 13 colonies started the rebellion for independence. Percentage of everything you earn, it goes free to Queen. To the greatest empire from sunrise to sundown. Greatest empire from sunrise, sundown, my ass. Greatest robber from sunrise to sundown. Even the United Kingdom hero, a folk hero, Robin Hood can match that. Or Three Musketeers cannot match that. Or Ali Baba cannot match that. Nobody on the planet ever can match that robbery. Nothing was going to anybody else but United Kingdom. And United Kingdom was living for free. No wonder that then, even today, mentality of the British people is that they are superior people. All the other people are nothing and nobody. They are just a bunch of worms or a bunch of fleas. Hong Kong, you need to wake up. And you need to sue United Kingdom for all the atrocity that they have done for 100 years since forcibly they have separated you from your motherland. And I thank all African countries, I mean every single colony, from New Zealand to Australia to Canada to 13 colonies in the United States then. I mean 13, yeah, 13 colony, original states. And all the West Indies and East Indies islands that Britain has occupied in India and everybody, they have sued you. You should have right, all you native people should have a right to sue this freaking kingdom. And all the nations in Africa, Zaire and Zimbabwe, and I mean, all the country on the Atlantic coast, they should sue for atrocity Holland and Belgium and Denmark and Germany and you name it, and United Kingdom and France. Algerian Revolution, it wasn't 100 years ago, it was 50 years ago. 500,000 people were executed. They was murdered by France, by the French legionnaires. Such a proud empire. When they left the Chad, there was not a freaking 1 foot of concrete on the capital of Chad. It's just incredible. Just incredible how a human being looked at another human being just because of their color or their ethnicity or their beliefs. It's amazing. I think we got a long way to go. We have a long way to go to develop that capacity and understanding how to be kind to each other and what that really means. I have always said to my friends, if you ever want to know how it's to be oppressed, ask me. I've been there. If you ever want to know how it's to be discriminated in a classroom, ask me. I've been there. If you ever want to know how's it feel when nobody cares, ask me. I've been there. Oh, jeez. If you ever want to know how to lose the faith in humanity, ask me. I've been there. But I was strong enough never to lose that one. Because I always believe that good of the humanity will have a last word. And I don't want to be disappoint myself to say like this, okay, hell with that, humanity is gone to hell. No, it's not. Humanity is still good and still has a chance to correct themselves. In that note, I will thank you again for being with me, for sharing your time with me. Till next time.